ironically, this is not streaming after a pandemic. I kind of realized we're never going to really finish and remove ourselves from the pandemic world and how we built up some behavior. So in reality, it's streaming because we do. But unfortunately, I gave a talk title, so I can't. Oh, right. What? It appears that I need to get close to the microphone and let you hear my dulcet tones. So, as I was just saying, streaming the pandemic after the pandemic is kind of wrong. It's actually just streaming for your day job. Because in reality, we're not going to be changing how we've done things. We're just going to be carrying on. So I am Mike Elsmore. I literally lifted this slide out of my boss's slide deck about an hour ago because it's prettier than the one I did. So I am Senior DevRel at Infobip. I am pretty much UK Mad Els everywhere on the internet. If you wish to have a description of why that is the tag everywhere, I will happily explain. And it is really boring, but people still go, why? So I work at Infobip. Got to do the thing because YouTube is a thing and this video will be seen later. Infobip is a communications platform as a service. So emails, text, 2FA, all that jazz, APIs, blah, blah, blah. Moving on with the rest of the talk. So why did this talk come about? Well, a few years ago, got a new gig as a DevRel after going back into engineering for a couple of years, started at Logs.io. Then in February, I started traveling, doing all the normal things, and then somebody had a really bad sneeze, and the world changed. That would be COVID, for those of you who are unaware that we've been in a weird situation and the longest march of the world. That meant all of the planning that my team had done for the last 6 weeks before that point went to hell. We had all our KPIs, all our engagements based purely on in-person engagements at conferences, trade shows, things like that. And then suddenly it all disappears. What do you do with a department of 3 people when their means of engagement and interacting with the community just disappears? Well, in reality, we spent about 2 weeks panicking and going, we have a lot of money that we've already spent. What the hell do we do? It's like, okay, so what do we do? Everything. Now, who here remembers the online events of 2020 and 2021? Anyone do any of the AWS reInvent events in that period? They were really sterile, horrible things to do. You couldn't engage with people. As a sponsor, it was useless. And as a speaker, you may as well have just submitted a video. And I think some people even actually did just submit videos because it held no intrinsic value. So a few months later, I think around June for me, which was possibly the worst decision ever because it meant I built a spare PC in my office and suddenly my office was about 5 degrees warmer in summer. Not a good idea when you don't have air conditioning in the UK. We tried streaming. Yes, the solution to all of our problems. Presenting our information on the internet where anybody can get it. You know, we do all the social media things and people usually come, so maybe streaming will do the trick. And I invested quite heavily into this. At Logs.io, I then started the Open Observability podcast, which is still going. And I still actually help my ex-colleague, well, my friend and ex-colleague, Dotan Horowitz, with actually managing it because, well, I just do. I have a bad habit of not abandoning projects after I've gone. So, hey. And then I started live streaming and learning in public. I'm going to actually disagree with Marino's talk yesterday, where yesterday he said, eventually you need to go into your niche and go down something if you want to build. I disagree. You should just do whatever the heck you want because it's your time and your fun. So for me, I stream for me. I currently, at my employer, do not stream during work hours, even though I stream some work stuff, purely so I can build whatever the hell I want and I don't have to answer to my boss. Sorry, boss. So I went and heavily invested in that, and I've now been doing it for 2 years. I still really enjoy it, and my community is tiny because I'm not actively trying to become a tech influencer and grow my engagement on the Instagram web of things 3.0. Blah. I don't care. I do it for fun. But I'm really sorry. I promised you statistics and hard numbers to prove that I was right. And it turns out to get those statistics out of esports companies cost thousands of dollars. I didn't get a budget for writing these slide decks, so no, I'm not paying for that. So I only have the last 12 months of data. But there is something that's quite important to come out of that. So here's the stats. You know, the really, really boring thing. This is a graph of the last 12 months of active engagement. So average viewers, sorry. And a viewer on Twitch is not just somebody who's logged in to see it. It's somebody who's actively engaged. They have entered the chat. They have said something. They have followed. They have done an action to engage with that stream. And the yellow section, all the average users, that is, I believe, averaging 1,400 a day and growing over the last 12 months. The average channels is 100 plus channels and growing in the science and technology, in the software and game development category. And the peak amount of channels, so the amount of channels on at any one time, is increasing slowly as well. So as a channel to get in front of people, the numbers are small and the graph kind of looks like the world's worst cardiogram, but it shows you there is actually growth. The only downside is this is not where streaming started. Streaming started on Twitch, and there's no category for it on YouTube currently, in something called tech and science. There was such a boom in people wanting to engage during 2020 and 2021 as individuals and as organizations that Twitch, who are notoriously slow at doing anything, created an entire new category just for people wanting to build stuff on the internet. So that's one of the reasons why we only have the numbers for that long, because I'm not paying to find the historic data for a different channel. Sorry. We have something that was created just because of a surge of people coming in. Twitch does also go through and cull channels that are not effective eventually for old games that never have any viewers or anything over. I think it's a 12-week period. They will remove anything that's inactive because it costs them to run the data and everything for that. This proves that people want to be engaged on it. The tech streamers, who the largest ones, people like Rox Codes, Primogen, White Panther, who also happens to be a boss for a different reason for me, and a whole bunch of other streamers who I now can't pick their names out the top of my head, all have a minimum of 100 people engaging with them at a time. This is people engaging, asking questions about the building, about the company they work for, about all the different things. Occasionally it's just random trolling, but this is the internet. You just kind of accept if you're on the internet, there will be a troll. Hi, I'm normally also a troll, but it's usually for the laughs. Nice. All I'm going to say, yeah, this one, that's me too. Yeah. And then even the small streamers like myself. So as you saw, I have less than 300 people following me. I still have an actively engaged community of 15 people each stream. Now, you're all probably going, that's really small potatoes. Why the hell do I care about 15 people engaging with me? So why would you bother carrying on? Well, this is a hand wavy part. It turns out there is no hard data or anything. This is my opinions and whatnot. Those 15 people are highly engaged in what you do, and they will give you feedback. If you work at an SDK company, so I've done SDK development for my current organization live, and people have given me opinions and immediate feedback on what is best practice, how to do a better job, which it saves me then having to wait for weeks of it coming back and going through a normal product cycle. And on top of that, even more so, everything you do as a stream can be turned into a blog, can be turned into a video, can be turned into another piece of content. And that's a really important thing that we do need to consider, is the fact that streaming, yes, it's small potatoes because it only has its value whilst you're doing it. But after the fact, it then becomes a community of people. It then becomes assets. It then becomes an entire stream of content that you can carry on. For example, I currently am producing for myself a little fun podcast I call Tech Off Topic, where I've once upon a time tried Naruto running into my chair and broke it, which was hilarious. And And that then is an actual just live podcast that I publish. It's for fun. So once again, I don't care about the numbers. But as I saw before with Open Observability, it actually grows. Open Observability currently has, and it's for a niche. Open Observability is in the open source metrics and data systems for things like open telemetry and the full, oh my lord, can't remember the name of the stack for traces. Marina, you could probably help with this. Yeah, the whole like open source. There's a name for the whole thing. Oh yeah, like the elk stack and it's full stuff. It's along this, but the open source side of this. Thank you very much, by the way. And that is getting 1,000 listeners a month and is regularly charting in Apple Podcasts for technology globally. So if you do it as a company, it has value. Just saying. So there is the end of the hand wavy part, and I'm really apologizing because I've just realized I'm so nervous in speaking in front of my peers that I'm rushing. Sorry. Breathe. So with that, there is the reason why you should carry on. It produces content. It is a pipeline. It is a means of getting X to Y. It's actually really, really good. So what do you need if you aren't already streaming? Well, there's a misconception that you need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get the job done, because that's what all the pro streamers in gaming category and the pro streamers who do content creation for a living do. You know, they have a mountain of GoPros. They have a couple of high-end Sony DSLR cameras. They have this, that, and the other. And it's not really that. You can get away with, we're doing it here in this event. We are using a tool called StreamYard. It's $25 a month, and you can actively stream and engage with communities through this from a laptop. Yes, your audio will suck, but it will work. Getting started is simple. And if you want to do it for free, you can do it with a tool called OBS. OBS stands for the Open Broadcaster System. Software, not system. This is a tool with infinite amount of customization and work you can do. Personally, I use OBS and I have custom alerts and I've written my overlays and stuff like that. So somebody randomly throws a pancake in my channel and it flips a pancake into my face on the screen. Because you know what? I can. OBS has that freedom. StreamYard doesn't have as much freedom, but it does make it actively engaging. OBS, you can do what you want. So how do you get around all the nitty-gritty bits of equipment? Well, I've got a GoPro here. These are like, on average, what, $300 plus from a Black 8 and above. I stream on a $20 1080p webcam. You don't need to spend a lot. Oh, you suddenly need a microphone. This is a 70-pound Shure cardioid one. And then you need another $200 plus audio interface. Or you can spend $30 to $50 on a cheap, affordable 3.5mm shotgun mic and just point it at your face, and it will still sound a million times better than your laptop. It is affordable and easy to get engaged. But if you're wanting to record something on a different computer, or so I currently run a 2-machine setup at home where I run my Mac for development and my Windows PC to do all the rest of it. You're going to need a $300 capture card and stuff. I run a meetup in the UK called Fusion. I use a $20 capture card that captures in 4K and works happily for about an hour and a half before I need to turn it off temporarily to cool down. It gets a little toasty, but it works. You do not need to be spending thousands of dollars to create engaging and active content. Just a little food for thought. So where to stream? Now, this is a question that I've actually had from people on Twitch about where should I go and do this? Well, the answer is actually everywhere. Recently, there's been a war between the streaming services about who should be what, where, why you should do this, that, and the other. They've all changed their terms of service to mean that if you want to, you can stream to all of them at the same time, and your audience will watch it where they want to watch it, not where you tell them. If you do it on YouTube, great. It'll be on YouTube afterwards. If you do it on Twitch, great. Twitch has great discoverability for when you're actively streaming, and it has more tools for engagement because it's been around for like nearly a decade, I believe, at this point. But in reality, you can use want any of the multi-streaming platform tools to just stream to all of them, to stream to Instagram, you can go live on TikTok if you so please. I wouldn't advise it because trying to code on and somebody watch it on their phone is surprisingly difficult to watch, but you can do this if you so want. So yeah, that's actually everything. Thank you. At which point I'm going to do a little bit of cheeky self-promotion. Please feel free to come and watch me do Twitch stuff. I try streaming 2 to 3 times a week when I'm not traveling. I am actually part of a stream team called The Claw, which we actively encourage diverse and inclusion in our members, as well as in the community that we propose and grow of people engaged there. AKA a bunch of people who like to build stuff on the internet for fun and want to help other people grow and build stuff on the internet for fun. And then I'm doing I do my podcast, as I mentioned previously. And this weekend, I'm going to be streaming it with Diana from Vonage. So yes, I'm replacing my current host with Jim Second with his colleague, Diana, and doing it here instead. So yeah, that's me. Thank you very much.